After getting the stove in last week, putting it in through this rear wall where the wall will be, now I think I can frame this in and figure out where this little window goes. I have a little bit of the remnants of this wall that kind of gives me an idea what it was. Well, I've had this loose jointed framework sitting around, and I kind of think it is the back wall, mainly because of this piece right here. This still has two hinges attached to it, and you can see the upper framework where there was a window placed right in here. These hinges still work, but I think this is the upper frame of the rear window in this sheep wagon. Well, above this window frame, this vertical frame has been angled off on the top, so I'm suspecting that maybe this was tapered for the angle of the bows. So I'm guessing there was probably another vertical right here similar to this one. So since these are so loose jointed, I'm going to clamp them a little tighter and see how it looks when I just hold it up against the back of this wagon. See how that looks. So this window should hinge to the inside because the shepherd's going to operate it from the inside. So this board here, I'm guessing maybe is kind of centered up in the top slats, maybe in this position somewhat. I'm kind of guessing that's about where this framework was. So some front and rear panels of sheep wagons were built solid. Some of them were not. Some of them just had an open frame and was covered with canvas. This is the category that I think this sheep wagon fits into because of this open framework. This window here, a couple of cross slats. I think there was two verticals that were bolted into this cross frame here. I think it was an open frame, and then I have a bow that shows lots of tack holes that indicate that this was canvas covered and not a solid wood rear wall or front wall. This is the one bow that I have that shows it was an end bow because the slats stopped just short of the end of the bow, right at the edge. But you can see it is perforated with little tack holes on the face of the bow. And then it has a little heavier brads, light nails on the edge of the board. So I think these were the tack holes that took the canvas around the face of the wagon. And then these would have been the edge of the trim work of the canvas as it was pulled over the top of the wagon. Another indication why I think this had a covered front and not a solid wood front. So I have another board here from this pile of remnants. It's the same width as this frame here. I don't know that this was the other vertical, but it's about the right size. So I'm thinking this would be the position of the two verticals, and it's going to have some cross frames. Interesting though that this window seems to be only this wide. It's not the full width of the two verticals. If I turn this over, we can see that it looks like there was a kind of a drip rail that was added on top of where this window would be. And there are numerous tack holes where that looks like that canvas was tacked here and fitted around the window, but this would allow a drip edge to keep the water from running down the window and inside. That's my speculation. So I'm not really sure I know as to why it would be a narrower window. Maybe that will reveal itself, but I think to start with, I'll put these two verticals in and try to get them positioned both the bottom and the top. Get these cross slats in, then I'll figure out how to build this window frame. Well, I've been studying this window frame, and there's a joint here that just doesn't make sense. There's nails coming in from the top. I'm going to cut this apart. There's just this one nail holding it. Well, there's similar nails here. This bolt seems to go through the whole thing. I think there was a frame coming down, outside frame of this window, which would make sense. So maybe this went clear across, two upright and another lateral. If these did have two verticals here, that could fit right inside this frame, which would be closer to centering this window up. If you're a cabinet maker, you'd call these stiles and rails. I think this cross frame might go clear across, or at least the same width as this top one here. That'd be my guess, and that would center that window up. So on this old frame, it looks like we are about 2 1/4, and then it's notched up in here, so the top is about 1.5 inches. It's set up about 3/4 of an inch, and that's what I did here. I made these at 2 1/4. I notched them up 3 1/4, so I have 1.5 inches here. So the width of my window frame itself will sit inside here. Now my verticals on the back of the sheep wagon are about out here, so I made these a complete 7 inches wide. The window frame shows to be about 14 inches. My overall width is 28, so I decided to make this a solid panel. What is here is gone, so I'm just kind of improvising, but I think that will look the best in the end. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of this back panel and window remaining. Those two little hinges is what caught my attention when I was clearing out some of the debris when we first started. So I've always had this little framework and these two hinges set aside, thinking that they went to this back wall. And as I have gone through the process of elimination on doing the rest of it, that framework has been lingering, waiting for this moment. So there wasn't much there. It's kind of up to interpretation of how it was. I'm thinking this is probably pretty close. Appreciate you coming along. Thanks for watching.